Today's episode is brought to you by Animoto, the easy-to-use video maker that gives you everything you need to create professional videos in minutes. All you need is just some photos or video. Animoto does the rest. It's easy to edit. It's easy to add music, and you push a button, and you can share it on your site, social media, and to your list. Look, video is the next big thing. You got to ask yourself if you're going to lead in this area or you're going to lag. With video, you guys should be doing house tours, neighborhood tours. What if you videoed the local park or the school or the local business district? You got a listing? Interview the neighbors. Most of all, at the closing table or when an offer gets accepted, you should be getting video testimonials and publishing them everywhere. It takes less than 10 minutes. The payoff is huge. I cut a deal with these guys. You can try it out for free, or for the next 8 weeks, you can get 15% off. Just go to animoto.com/superagentslive and use the promo code superagentslive. Look, guys, support our sponsors. Keep this show free. Let me know how it goes. Our other sponsor, Real Estate Radio Experts, you guys should take a look at it. If you haven't thought about radio, radio works. Today's episode, we actually spend a ton of time talking about radio. For today's guest, radio is 25% of his business. So if you guys want to level up, if you've been thinking about doing radio, you know what? Go to the site. Go to realestateradioexperts.com. Fill out the getting started sheet. It's not as expensive as you think to hop on radio. You can become a celebrity. You get those come with me leads. Fill out that getting started page, and we'll talk. Welcome to Super Agents Live. This is the one place where you can come and hear the most successful people in real estate. You'll hear how these super agents built their businesses, how they stay productive, and how they stay motivated. Who am I? My name's Toby Salgado, and I made my first $1 million in real estate. Yeah. And I'm your host for the next 30 minutes while we talk to yet another amazing real estate entrepreneur. Stay tuned.
Let's go! Yeah!
Now, today's guest, I mentioned in the pre-log that we do talk a lot about radio, but he was always in sales, he explains. He didn't go out to get a college degree. He felt like it was a waste of time unless he went full bore and got a master's degree. So he got into real estate. He always was an entrepreneur. He had an entrepreneurial spirit since he was a little kid. You know, he was buying and selling stuff to his buddies, lemonade stand, all that stuff. Now, we do spend a ton of time talking about radio, but we also talk a lot about just typical marketing, typical lead gen channels. We talk about how many lead gen channels you should have and why you should have that many. We talk about why having a core mastermind group, somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, something that you can share, what's working, what's not working. That is critical. So listen, I had a lot of fun with this guy. I hope you enjoy it too. Let's get to it. Today on the show, I'm looking forward to my guest today. Now, background-wise, has a team of 9. 2013, he did 286 deals for $36 million. 2014, he took a step back. He did 220 transactions for $25 million. We're going to get into why that happened. His average sale price is $120,000. He's in Milwaukee. I'm thrilled to have today on the show Justin Hoffmann. Hey, Justin, thanks for taking the time out today.
Hey, my pleasure. Look forward to it.
So Justin, real quick, I want to get into your numbers. I want to get into your business. I want to get into your market. But before we get there, tell us a little bit about who Justin is. I always want to know who the man behind the machine looks like prior to digging into your business.
Yeah, I mean, I really, honestly, have always been in some form of sales. Before I sold real estate, I sold furniture for a couple years.
Interesting.
My formal education is non-existent other than multiple different coaching programs within the real estate world. I started buying real estate as a 20-year-old kid. That's the whole reason that I got excited about the real estate end of things, was more from an investor side of things. And before I knew it, I was taking my test to become my own licensed broker. And the rest is history. That's 13 years ago.
Okay, so 13 years. Help me understand. I just want to know. You said no formal education. Did you grow up on a farm?
Don't get me wrong. I didn't grow up on a farm. No. But after high school, obviously, the goal was to go to college.
Yeah.
And I did. But as I started getting into the real estate business, I realized the amount of money that I was capable of earning.
Yeah.
Which is why I just completely switched gears and literally just dropped out. And put 100% focus on building the real estate business that I have now, which initially started off was more looking at investment properties and property management and stuff that we still do, but now the majority of the income, is coming from the real estate sales side of things in the form of commission.
Speaking of just on the education topic a little bit, I think in today, I want to get your take on this, but in today's environment, everybody wants to have, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur these days. I don't know that for people out there, I don't know that college is a path that everybody wants to go down these days. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's a great point of discussion, and it depends who you speak to, and it depends what you want. Now, you've got no option, in my opinion, unless you're going to be an entrepreneur. You're going to not just have to complete an undergrad degree, you're going to have to go to graduate school. So, like, for example, my two children, which are 14 and 11, unless they have some really great idea or they're really self-driven, I'm going to push them and tell them college is not an option, and I'm not even going to stop there. I'm going to tell them graduate school really is where the separation is going to be now. But I can argue both sides of this thing, especially look at the average cost of tuition. Is it really worth the investment to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year? Nobody's doing it in 4 years. To really look at a 5-year plan, is that return there? That's really open for discussion, and that's why I say the graduate degree is going to be the separator.
Yeah, and here, look, the only reason I brought this up is because I had, I think it was Steve Harney and I, we were talking about, millennials, and because everybody goes out and they get into $100,000 worth of debt to go to school. What's happening, because that college debt is, you can't BK it out. You have to pay for it. And it is people, instead of the extra money that people have, that's where their money's going. It's going to paying off their school debt, and they're not able to buy houses. And he was making the argument that because of college tuition and debt, that is hurting the market with first-time home buyers.
Sure, I can't argue it. It's difficult to qualify without student loans, without a debt-to-income ratio over 50%. So, yeah, it's going to play a role, and you got to be real careful with what you select to be your major in the event you decide to go get a college education, because it needs to be something that's not only in demand, but something that can create some money for you, so you can not only pay off the loans, but still have money left to be able to do what you want, including purchasing a house. Yeah.
Okay. So you're a guy that's always been in sales. What you have a background in sales. What's that about? Were you just were you one of those lemonade kids that you always were entrepreneurial?
Yeah, no question. We're talking 3rd, 4th grade. I was selling things to classmates. I understood how to buy something cheap and to sell it for more money when I was real little kid. Yeah, sure, absolutely did the lemonade thing. But I think that started to materialize for my dad, who was an entrepreneur, and I watched him fail a lot of times. Bankruptcy, you name it, the whole 9 yards. But he wouldn't give up. It's not doesn't end in a success story either. But you got to have passion for what you do, number one. And I think number two, we talked about the college, I think education is key, period. And if you're going to go all in on any endeavor, you need to be one of the sharpest knives in the drawer. And if you're not, you need to hang around with those who are. That way you can really grab a lot of information. And that's why I've spent a ton of money on different coaching all across the board. So when I look at it, from being a young kid, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I guess you could say that. But I also have been very passionate, too, where I didn't wear 15 different hats. When I figured out at a young age what I wanted, which at that time, in my early 20s, was to be the number one real estate agent in all of Wisconsin, that's been what I've been working towards ever since then.
So again, getting into you and who you are a little bit. So you since 3rd, 4th grade, you were always selling stuff. Are you one of those guys that are you like an angle guy? Like you're walking around, you're like, I know how to, I can make a business out of that, or I know how I could make money off of that. Is that who Justin? Is that a fair assessment? I can tell you, no matter where I go in the country, I look for different business ideas. I'm not going to lie.
that's just what I'm drawn to. Now, does that mean I physically get involved and invest in all kinds? No. But yeah, I think when you have the entrepreneurial spirit, it doesn't go away. Even when you go on vacation, it follows you.
Right.
You're looking at different ideas. How could I make this better? Would this work in my hometown? And I've been involved in a lot of different things that were great, and there's other things that didn't work out. But as a whole, I think real estate, there's a lot of different avenues in which you can make money, where you could be that entrepreneur. For example, we started off just buying or I started off just buying it, holding it as rentals, and it turned into flipping for profit, and it continued to buy more and hold, and then we started managing for other people. We got into REO, a lot of different revenue streams. Short sales were a big thing back in a few years ago too. But as things change, the market changes. You kind of put one to rest, but you reinvent something new that makes more money. To replace the money that the income stream that died off. But it's always important to have a lot of different revenue streams and different marketing heads.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that, and really, if what you're saying, and look, this is your investor side, right? Because when you go buy stocks and you get an advisor or whatever, the first thing that they do is they want to look at your risk tolerance, and then they say, hey, look, let's come up with an asset allocation. So in a lot of ways, what you're saying is, by having multiple revenue streams, it's basically you have a asset allocation theory, but you apply it towards your business streams. Bingo.
You hit it right on the head.
So what are some of the things that you're doing today that's working for you in your business?
Our number one, I guess you could call it return on investment from a marketing standpoint, is number one, we have a unique selling proposition that we use here in Milwaukee, and it's the Guaranteed Sale Program. I'm sure you've heard of it. But it's got to be aggressively marketed. So we do both radio ads, where we do AM radio, where I have actually Sean Hannity as one of our celebrity endorsements, and then we also will send out aggressive mailings, different postcards to for sale by owners and expireds with the Your Home Sold Guaranteed, or I'll buy it. Stamped on it, and that's kind of our claim to fame, if you would, and if you even spoke to some of my competitors, that's what they're going to tell you about me, is we're the team that guarantees the sale. Yeah.
Well, and so you work with my competitor, by the way.
Yeah, I probably do.
Yeah.
Probably do.
Miss Wagner.
Yeah.
So anyhow, okay. So let's talk about radio for a second. Just I didn't know you did radio. So how long have you been doing radio?
I've been doing radio, I would say this is going on my 4th straight year without a break. And I dabbled in it on my own before I got with Wagner, and didn't have anywhere near as much success.
Yeah.
Writing my own ad copy and negotiating my own. I would tell anybody listening, not going to endorse anybody other than definitely hire a professional.
I agree with that. There's a lot of choosing the right station, choosing the right format, choosing the right day part is exactly critical. So what percentage of your business comes out of your 220 deals? What percentage of that do you think comes from radio?
Our radio represented almost 25% of our business.
That's nice, man. I love that. Where did let's break down the other 75. Where did that other 75 come from?
Our sphere of influence, referrals, and past clients.
Okay.
Was another 20%.
Okay.
Our postcard direct mailing was about 12%. And then we have a lot of different, and we had REO from a transaction standpoint. Percentage of volume, I guess you could say, that was just under 18%, and that's why we're down over last year, because our REO positioning, it's just not what it was. It is what it is. It wasn't as big of a part of our business. But then we also have a lot of different online, I could call it miscellaneous online marketing, from Google to we have we're big in with Commissions Inc., which is going to be our game changer for 2015 moving forward.
Is that new for you? Is Commissions Inc. new for you in 2015, or was that a 2014 thing?
No, I would say it's probably we got our feet wet with it late 2013, and we're now just kind of grabbing the bull by the horns and making it much more a part of our focal point for 2015.
Okay. And I'll make a comment. And I want to get your take on it. Radio is such an interesting medium because I can look at your numbers, SOI, referral 20%, postcards 12%, and then your REO numbers. But with radio, it leaves so much residue out in the marketplace that I'll bet you these numbers are a little bit goosed, even though they came from your sphere of influence. Those numbers are goosed from the credibility that you get on radio.
Absolutely. And here's the deal. If you, like, for example, you say sphere of referral, there's no question that radio plays a role in that final decision for them to make that call to you,
right.
Even though they may even know who you are, okay? I mean, you could go to social media, and, I might have 1,000 friends on there or whatever. I don't physically really know that many people,
right.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, through 6 degrees of separation, I'm affiliated, and all of a sudden I get a call from this guy, and they're saying, yeah, we're friends on Facebook. But that doesn't mean that he didn't hear my radio ad. There's no question that plays a role. And you're right, I don't know what I don't know because it's almost immeasurable.
Yeah.
But, just walking down the street, you can create celebrity, your own little mini celebrity in your market with effective radio ads. Yeah, there's no question about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let me ask you this. So everybody out in the audience, if you want to check out Justin's website, it's the one I'm on is soldjustintime.net. Now, Justin, on this, I want to get you didn't give me – you had referrals, postcards, and then REO. You didn't give me any kind of internet lead gen. Although if I go to this Sold Just in Time Justin, you have a home value site. How is first question is, how is this home valuation working for you today?
Well, the home valuation is a separate landing page. So if you really navigate, and I don't have the site open in front of me, but obviously I know it pretty well. There's different landing pages as you scroll through. So we either will spend a little bit on Google, okay, or we'll do an actual direct response marketing campaign through any social media, through any type of a Google, through any type of a hard mail, depending on what it is that we're looking for. What we've done recently is not necessarily abandon that, because those will still come through. We have pretty good organic SEO when it comes to certain platforms or landing pages that we've had for a really long time. But now we're using more of our Commissions Inc. platform to build, because I like the front and back end management of it better, and the guys that are from that company are really starting to build that up big time. Where now we're able to get seller lead generation from it. Obviously, it's got buyer lead gen, but we're more or less walking away from the stuff that we used to do, because when I look at my numbers, what we were spending versus not necessarily the amount of leads, but I would say it's a better idea to determine not just a cost per lead, but a cost per legitimate lead. We're getting a better legitimate lead on the seller side of our market, like our home valuations, from our Commissions Inc. seller platform than we were able to do on our own.
That's really interesting. Now, look, there's two platforms that are for for this pay-per-click thing. It's Boomtown and Commissions Inc. Those are the two ones. Sure. There's a bunch of others out there, but those are the two ones I think that are the number one and number two. Why educate me as well as the audience? Why did you choose Commissions Inc. over Boomtown?
It's a great question. I was actually originally going to be doing Tiger leads. Okay, Now this is going back several years. And one of the cool things that now I'm also a Craig Proctor guy. I coach for him. So I've got a pretty cool network. And some of these guys are no longer, some of them are Kinder Reese guys. Some of them don't have anybody anymore. But there's a group of guys that strategically have kept in contact nonetheless over, we're talking 7-8 years. So what's really cool about this core group is we're able to bounce a lot of stuff off each other. So most of the decisions I make are based on other people's track record, what they're telling me is the best or the worst, and we kind of, I just make decisions based on the facts that they're able to provide to me because we all try different things. And Commissions Inc. outweighed any of the other competitors based on other guys that had been using it for a couple of years, especially the ones that started with it right on Jump Street. So that's what pulled us in that direction.
Got it.
And that was it. There was really nothing more than I really value some of these guys' opinions, and if they're using it and they can show me proof that they're making money on it, typically we'll jump in and do it, and at least test it and track it, and see what type of numbers it brings us.
So in terms of testing it, I think a lot of people will whatever it is, direct mail, Google pay-per-click, whatever, they'll try it, and I don't think they'll give it a good enough runway to say, okay, it does work or doesn't work. Maybe walk us through your thought process around how you test a new product or service.
Well, the first and most important thing is you've got to have a systemized approach to at least tracking it.
Okay.
Especially coaching other agents, they're like, well, Justin, this doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, define that. Well, I didn't get one deal off it last month. Okay, well, how many leads did you get? Well, I got 50. Well,
yeah.
Okay, that's a freaking boatload. What did you do with the 50? Well, I called them, and none of them answered. Okay. What did you do next? Well, they didn't answer. What was I supposed to do? So it's that disconnect between what's the purpose of the system. Okay,
yeah.
There is nothing out there that's equivalent to a magic pill you can swallow. Okay, you got to go to work. So if you have some type of a system that generates you 50 leads, if you're not able to close at least 10% of those, then you don't have a problem with the system. You have a converting problem, which is a whole nother problem. And that's where you've got to know how to convert. You've got to be very well scripted. Your dialogue's got to be good. You've got to have a multiple. You can't just call them. You got to be able to text them. You've got to email them, but you can't do it just once. And you can't do it for 30 days. You've got to have a system built in to be able to convert it. So when we look at a real new, brand new system, for example, if it's doing what it should be doing and it's generating leads, and we're not converting, we're not looking at the system failing. We're looking at the team failing. And you got to do something for at least 6 months, in my opinion.
Okay.
With some really good measurable tracking, if you're going to kill it, or crank it up and make it your bread and butter. No,
you hit it. That's what I wanted. You got to try it for at least 6 months. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure everybody in the audience is, that's a question that everybody has. How long should I try it? So what you said earlier was, in that example, right? The guy didn't have a lead problem; he had a conversion problem. What about when you look? Here's what I'm trying to unpack, and maybe help me with it. Okay, so there is a cost of every lead, and there's a quality component to every lead. Now, if you get a referral, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna close that deal. Now, when you get a lead off a postcard, or you're doing these postcards, sometimes those different channels have different sales cycles, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. So, postcards, the idea is that you're going to break even in 18 months. Do you know kind of where I'm going with this?
Here, let me break this down.
Okay.
So, for example, throw away the medium of your marketing. It's all about your message. Different marketing messages. For example, if you're going to do a Boomtown, a Tiger, or a Commissions Inc., your numbers, your conversion is going to be far less than if you're doing a direct mail call to action marketing, where it's direct response. Okay, a Commissions Inc. is going to generate a ton of leads for you, a ton of buyers that are saying, hey, yeah, we might be interested in buying a house because they went to your site, they registered, they gave you, and they started looking at houses. When we do our guaranteed sale program, which is a direct response marketing, my return, my cost per lead is far less, okay? Or I should say my cost per qualified lead. I call a qualified lead someone that actually responded.
Right.
most of the people that we mail, it is a direct phone call to my office answered by a live body. So we have a far better ratio getting a hold of those people than we do on just a Google-sponsored buyer campaign, okay?
Yep.
Same thing goes for radio. Now, radio is going to cost you more money than postcards, but as I said before, you're going to speak to a far better percentage of those people because they're calling you. So it's just like an up call, right? Like a sign call. Those are by far the best leads. The best leads that come into your building or into your office, to your team, is someone who's calling you. It's not an internet lead. It's not an email, because that's the step one is getting them on the phone. And sometimes that can be difficult to do. Once you've already got them on the phone, we're able to convert these leads, if you will, to face-to-face appointments, to contract, to close. And we get a far higher percentage on those, what I call direct response marketing, than we do on any type of a Google, pay-per-click type of deal.
Yeah. You're a smart guy, Justin. I like everything you're saying. Let me ask you this, because you are a coach. You do coach people. In terms of lead generation channels, how many lead gen channels should people strive to have?
Well, the goal, now that's an awesome question. In my opinion, over time, you should have no less than 5 and no more than 9. And here's why I say that. You can't just come in out of a coaching program or something. You cannot throw every single cool idea you think, all at once. You need to come up with 3 or 4 right away that you're going to really focus on. Because 2 things can happen. 1, you're going to go broke, right? Because unless you're really already up and running and able to handle, a total game changer when it comes to lead generation, you're going to screw up half these leads, number 1. You're not going to follow up, number 2. And all of a sudden, you're spending X amount of dollars a month without any return. So my whole philosophy is let's get 3 good ones.
Okay.
And let's master them, okay? But just like everything else, once you figured that out, now you're ready to launch number 4 and 5 and possibly keep going. We like to have 7 as a team here, but my 5, 6, and 7 may change year to year because of the market. Whereas we started a company, or not a company, but a new program where we wanted to really, really hit short sales, for example, okay? So we started the Wisconsin Short Sale Network, where we marketed not to, sellers that were upside down. We marketed to real estate agents that may have come across some where we would give them a 20% referral fee and do the deal for them. So we became known locally as the short sale gurus. We're the guys to go to. So we were getting, referrals left and right from other real estate agents. And all I did was I recorded a video and I emailed it to the entire realtor database with a landing page articulating exactly what to do. It was super turnkey. All I had to do was go to the website. I think it was like WisconsinShortSaleNetwork.com. Hop on the landing page, give me their information, give me the client they're referring, and it would automatically generate a referral document. My office would take care of executing, getting it signed back and forth, and boom, we were on our way. So, but now that's not what we do. That's something so my 5th and 6th pillar has now changed. We're actually, believe it or not, revisiting print ads, which we stayed away from completely. But now when I look at online, you can spend so much, like Zillow, for example, where that's going to go is both of our, Zulia, if you will.
Yeah.
That's anyone's guess. But that's becoming a commodity now. And whoever outspends the next guy is going to get the leads. Eventually there's no ROI there. So you got to be careful with where you spend your money. So we're actually looking back to some print ads, some direct marketing or direct, what's the word I'm looking for? Direct response marketing via print ads, which we haven't done since 2008.
But, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by print ads? I mean, print is one. What?
So like newspapers.
Wow.
Marketing. In some of the Homes and Land magazines, going back to classified ads even, because here's what happened. Nobody's doing it anymore.
And
right?
it's cheap. It's cheap
It's
compared.
super freaking cheap.
Yeah.
It's super. It's direct. It's easily measured and tracked, and nobody's doing it. So you're standing out,
Right.
and that's what it's all about. If you can differentiate, you can either be a small fish in a big pond, which is good for some people, or you can just be this monster fish in this little pond, and you can get a ton of business off of just doing what no one else is doing. When you follow the herd, you typically don't come out ahead.
Yeah.
It's kind of, and I don't even say reinvent the wheel, but like some of the old school things, and that's not even, we're not talking, 7, 8, 10 years ago, the things that worked then that everybody got away from, we're going to start going back to. Because, like you said, I can do it for pretty inexpensively, and I think the return will be there. Now, I'm going to only give it probably 90 to 120 days. And then I'll kill it if it doesn't make money.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely willing to throw some money at it.
What about there's a guy and I cannot think of his name. He's in your group. He's in Charleston, and he's had great success with billboards. You know who I'm talking about?
Ah, man, I don't know necessarily.
Matt calls him the honey badger. He's a big boy.
I know of him.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's it, man. So dude, you don't
That's
sound
Jeff
like
Cook.
Jeff Cook.
He
Jeff Cook
kills it with billboards.
He kills
But he also kills it with radio.
He does. I agree.
He's got a really well-oiled machine.
He's have you seen his billboard, by the way?
He's got really goofy ones too.
Goofy, stupid ones. There's one with a picture of his big mug, and he's got a mug for radio. And he's got it on there, and it's an old lady's shoe, and it's like, and the tagline is, "And I sold a shoe." And I remember I was just in Charleston this summer, and I'm driving down the freeway. I'm going, "What is that?" And then it's so kooky, it works.
Yep.
But here's what I was going to say, Justin. You don't sound like a Craig Proctor guy, man. You sound like a Kinder Reese guy with doing all this stuff.
You know what, though? They're so similar. And I know Jay and Mike. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think they're great guys. I've been with Craig since 2007,
okay.
Going through the whole entire thing. But there's a lot of similarities as much as there's differences between the two.
Huh.
Especially when it comes to marketing. A lot of it, like I said, no one's going to reinvent the wheel, number one. I don't think there's anything new out there that I haven't heard about that's that big of a game changer other than like the Commissions Inc. platform being run the right way. I think that's the biggest thing that we're going to see bring us, additional revenue that we didn't obtain last year. But everybody's, it's so many of these guys, so many of these coaches, in the end, like I had a team meeting today. In this, it's football season. I'm a big football guy. I love sports. And I think it's because I love competition, okay? But when I look at, tonight's national championship, you got Big Ten getting represented by Ohio State, Oregon, two totally different teams, totally different schemes. In the end, it's going to be the team that blocks and tackles the best that wins, right?
Yeah.
But those are such elementary youth football basics. Same thing with real estate. The team that converts the most leads to appointments will have the most closings.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's NBA players, okay, they still shoot free throws every day. You think they know how to shoot a free throw?
Right.
Like, I guarantee they could do it with their eyes closed.
Yeah.
Some of them do. But it's just those basics. There's always going to be the next best thing to throw $3,000 a month at, or so on and so forth. But in my team and in my experience, it's not necessarily about generating thousands of leads. It's about getting really freaking good at converting the ones you have, and always wanting more out of your team and expecting it.
So going back to the lead generation channels. Now, we know you should have 5 and no more than 9. You said get 3 good ones and master them. What for somebody out there that's doing, let's say 20 deals, and they want to get to 50. What do those 3 lead generation channels look like?
Well, in my opinion, you do something less branded for buyer business.
Okay. Interesting.
Because it's inexpensive. You're able to kind of sneak underneath the radar of the I'm just looking type of buyer. And you do something online, something inexpensive. something even through a Craigslist, through some type of social media. You can run your own ads. You can do your own Google thing. There's a lot of things you can do. I mean, if it were me, without even pulling any punches, I would run some type of distress sale ad, if you will, to try to gauge a buyer who's looking for a good deal by portraying to the public that you've got a list of these proprietary properties that you can get access to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That ad's always worked for us. So the ad goes something like this: free list of distress sales not on the market yet. Call for the top 10 list, and you come up with a
Holy
catchy URL.
smokes, man. That is brilliant.
Well, you've got to be able to differentiate. So when you got Zulia and all these people are saying, well, I can get all these. The truth is, no, you can't. Okay, number one.
Yeah.
But if you come across as a guy with the proprietary information, a free list of homes that nobody else knows are for sale, you're going to get a really good deal on them. When you're that guy, you're going to get a lot of people to raise their hand and say, I want that.
Man,
So
yeah.
that's a really, really good ad to run. You can even run that ad in a newspaper,
Right.
And get a response.
Now, is there? Listen, it's a brilliant idea, and I'm sure that there's going to be a ton of people in the audience that are going to try that. What about an ad? Have you thought for sellers? What can you do? Some kind of hacks like that for sellers?
Well, for a seller ad, now, I guess it's basics. Okay, so we know what buyers want, right? They want a decent deal. Bottom line is they want a house. Okay. Same thing that a seller wants in reverse. The seller wants a buyer. That's it. So if you can portray, for example, we used to run postcards, and I stopped just because the cost of postage got too expensive. Everyone runs or not everyone, when they used to, like a just sold card.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
But we would do it, and I would call it like the just sold card on steroids. And actually, I got a copy of it in front of me. I'll read you exactly what it says. It literally says, we just sold your neighbor's home. I have 57 buyers still looking in this neighborhood. Please call me immediately to discuss the sale.
That's
so now,
brilliant.
Yeah, so now instead of advertising to a buyer that we have a secret list of homes, now we tell the sellers, we kind of got this secret list of buyers who already have shown interest in a super similar home. They're in our database. We're working with them. We just need a listing. You've got a property that probably matches. We can slam this thing together and put it together real quick. When can we get together to discuss the sale?
Man, Justin, if your average sale price was more than $120K,
Well, tell me about it.
You'd be killing it.
It is what it is, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I got to do 250, 300, which sucks because I got buddies that can do 100 deals and net more money than I can. With a $400,000 or $500,000 average sale price, but it's just not what we have right now. And we're low. Our average sale price is pulled down by a lot of really low-end REO that we still have.
Got it.
When I remove the REO, obviously our average sale price goes up to like the 180 range, but as a whole, it's still part of the business model, so you got to take it for what it is. It's a $120,000 sale. Now, I honestly think we're gonna add to that, and there's ways to beef up your average sale price. I've never had a lot of success, but I know of other people that have. And all you do is you take, for example, you want a higher range buyer. You take that same ad we discussed earlier.
Yep.
But you put a disqualifier in. Okay? So instead of just a free list of distress sales, homes not on the market, you put free list of distressed luxury sales, 250 to 550, or whatever your luxury market is.
Yeah.
So now you put the disqualifier in, so you're not going to have anybody under that money, because it doesn't make sense. It's not geared towards them. It's not a message to market match for someone who wants a $100,000 house. And you can go after buyers that way. I don't know about other parts of the country as much as I know about my own. Anybody who's buying 3 to 550 here, typically it's not a first house, so they're going to have a house to sell. So now I'm able to grab a buyer on a move-up home and list a home that's going to be more of the entry level, so we're able to get, a 2-for-1 on that lead.
So yeah, no, look, I absolutely love all this stuff, and this is just flowing out of you. Where did you learn this stuff? I mean, is this?
This is all original Craig Proctor.
Got it.
Stuff, really. I mean, in the end, now as I move up the ranks, now I've got Todd Walters as my coach. He's known nationally as a $1 billion agent. I mean, this guy really freaking smart. So he's my personal coach now. And a lot of the stuff that he teaches is the basics with a little bit of a steroid injection, where we're a group of about 30 now that are really bouncing some good ideas off each other. And everybody takes a new marketing concept and rolls it out and tracks it and perfects it. And then we're able to duplicate it, exchange it within the group. And then if it passes, Craig and Todd's sniff test, they'll bring it out to other members in the program.
See,
and then Jay and Mike will grab stuff, and
yeah,
and you stay buddies with everybody. It's not like everybody's so afraid to share, like you're gonna turn your competitor into your, he's gonna steal from you, or she's gonna. And the more you teach, the more you learn. The more you give, the more you get. And until you realize that, it's really hard to grow your business exponentially. Unless you're willing to share, because the more you share, you're going to get a lot more, not just from other people that you shared with. Anytime the student and the teacher go at it, the teacher only knows more because they spent time to develop the lesson plan, and that's where the learning is. So when you're coaching other people, you're picking your brain. Oh, man, what are we going to talk about on this call or whatever?
Right.
And that's why this stuff flows naturally, is because I talk about it a lot.
I think, though, I mean, here's what, again, I've had all the big trainers on. You name it. I've had them on. Now, I have not had Craig Proctor on because that's his bit is all the, it's just not his thing. But what I have realized with the trainers, and I'm not going to say anybody's names, is at the end of the day, it's not – their students don't get – actionable stuff like you're dropping right now. What I found is fundamentally at the end of the day, what their 90% of coaches deliver is like a hardcore accountability partner.
Totally.
Yeah, but again, it sounds to me like what you're getting is you're getting like these strategies, tactics that have been on the ground, tested, and done.
Yeah, I mean you've got to. Every market's different. So from a coaching, like I'm a coach, I get it. I don't coach a ton of people. That's by choice. Okay. The ones that I do, you got to realize that you don't necessarily know their market, right? So you've got to figure out what works for you in your market, and at least have them test and try your best stuff first. But like I said, if somebody tells me they got 50 leads and they told me that the marketing failed,
yeah,
I'm like, dude, look in the mirror. You're the failure.
Yep.
And I think the accountability is a part of it, but you've got to have some type of real content to hold them accountable to. You can't just say, all right, run some ads and good luck. Okay, make those 20 calls and fax me the sheet that shows me you called them. That's not real accountability. It's building a real business with, the pillars of income, and then perfecting a few. And not a lot of coaches, I think, make mistakes is they roll way too much out to these people before they're ready, and that's like drinking out of a fire hose.
Right.
You're doomed to fail.
So, man, you're one of those guys I could go on and on with, but we have to start wrapping up. And I'm going to ask you a question. I'm just going to let you take it wherever you go, because I know you have good content in you that I'm not getting at. So here's the question. What's something that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you, Justin?
Holy cow, that was a good one. What didn't you ask me? You didn't ask me. You did ask me that. Man, I think you stumped me on the first rapid fire question answer.
No. I mean, look. I mean, what's something that you would just like to get out there that something that maybe it's one thematically theme that you see people getting wrong, and you can and you could solve 2,000 people's problem right now with whatever. You know what I mean? Like what are?
Oh, yeah. Here, what most agents, the mistakes they make, and the reason that they only sell, I don't even know what the national average is. It's around 8, 6, 8. I've heard as low as 4.
Yep.
It depends who you talk to. But just in my own experience dealing with other real estate agents that are in my market that have a buyer for one of my listings, you got to remove the emotion. There are so many people that take this business so personal, where when they start using words like my buyer and I feel, it's like, all right, you're already way too involved in this deal. You've got to step outside your comfort zone and hurt people's feelings. You can't be afraid to tell a buyer that he's got to pay more money for this home or he's not going to own it. Same thing when it comes to a seller. A lot of times in a listing presentation, I'll literally sit down. First thing out of my mouth is, all right, guys, I've become a professional disappointer over the years. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be able to get you top dollar, but your idea of top dollar and mine are probably going to be two total different numbers. And I'm going to be upfront honest with you so I don't disappoint you later. And I'd rather walk away from the listing now than have a real uncomfortable conversation 4 or 5, 6 months from now. So I'm going to tell you how I feel, and I'm going to leave a lot of the fluff and the puff outside. Because when I come in, there's zero emotion whatsoever. This is reality real estate coming out of my mouth, and I don't mince my words. And I think a lot of people still like to be friends with their clients, which is great, and I can appreciate that, but your client wants the truth, even if it hurts. And it just sucks to see a lot of these agents. It's not that they only sell fixed-rate houses. They have the ability to sell a lot more, but I think they get in their own way and screw up a lot of transactions that should go to closing just because they get so emotionally involved in the deal. And they're afraid to hurt their buyer's feelings. So they spend 3 or 4 extra months with these people, and have to literally sell a house to them 3 or 4 times before the deal goes together.
And I'll tell you, I can appreciate what you just said, saying, hey, I'm a professional disappointer. Let me tell you what, if you sat in front of me and said that, dude, all you did, I'm going to trust you. I'm like, you know what? I trust this guy. And whereas the last guy I talked with is, trying to give me, give me everything that I want. And, so anyhow,
Exactly.
if anybody in the audience, if you don't walk away with anything else, I think that's the nugget that you should walk away with. Listen, Justin, I always ask the last 2 questions are always the same. And here's the first one. It's a setup, right? I'm an aspiring agent. I have $25. What book should I go buy today?
E-Myth.
That's a great book, E-Myth. And if everybody,
absolute first buy.
Yep. If you have not read E-Myth Revisited, you go get a free copy on us. Just use our link, audibletrial.com/superagentslive. It's a great book. I read it 3 months ago for the second time. And here's my last question to you, and I'm interested in the answer. Justin, do you have any personal habits that you feel has contributed to your success?
Oh, well, I'm a former 3-time Golden Glove champ.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. So boxing is still a part of my life. I don't get in the ring anymore and fight for trophies, but I still work out and I still train. It's evolved a little bit more to even mixed martial arts, and I think the discipline that's something I did when I was younger, obviously, but that discipline of knowing what it takes not just to train, to get good at the art, to put in the work, to prepare for a fight, brought a lot to my real estate team because it's a lot of the same principal habits. Like we talked about basketball players, for example, shooting free throws, and they're in the NBA for crying out loud. They know how to do it, but a boxer also knows how to throw a left jab, but he's throwing 500 of them a day. It's the same thing with lead follow-up, conversion, handling objections, and just having a good work ethic that starts with you. You want other people, if you want to lead, you're going to have to lead by example. Speed of the leader, definitely speed of the crew. But I think boxing is something I do outside and all, mixed martial art. My whole family. My 2 kids are black belts. They're, my kid, he's 14, he could probably almost take me. If I, that's part of the reason why I still train. I can't let that happen. But I think that's, if you want to talk about habits outside, staying healthy, working out, and doing that keeps me going. And I think the same principle elements that caused me to have success in boxing just rolled over right into the real estate business. Got it.
I love it, man. Hey, well, listen, I always encourage my audience, if they've gotten anything out of these interviews, to reach out and say thank you. And I'll tell you, this one is jam-packed. So I'm going to be the first guy. Justin, thanks for taking the time out, coming on this show. Now, maybe somebody who has a referral, they want to refer you out there in Milwaukee. Maybe somebody wants to join your team. Let us know where people can find you.
Yeah, best my email, it comes directly to me, justin@wihominfo.com. And my direct line here at my office is 414-897-0098.
Awesome, man. Hey, dude, let's stay in touch. I think you're somebody that I would like to talk more to. All right, bud. Thanks, man.
My pleasure. Appreciate the opportunity.
See you,
Adios.
Justin.
Let's go.